of my friends say, girl, you better take care.
Stealth Community Club. How are you doing? Good evening, good night, hello. Good to see you. Glad you're stopping in. Here on Stealth Community Club, better known as the Ninja Community Club, we put forth the effort to seek out one another's thoughts and to hear your views on life and to add to the community anything new that you might be thinking of or might come by, and actually just de-stress or detune from all the hatred and wickedness in the world. Place you can come to and relay your comments, get an answer back, and actually the whole community can step in and give their ideas and thoughts, and we can ponder over it. Basically going to talk a little bit, now that we're in the year and time of 2025, is a life of reparations. What it stands for, and what it could have meant for the black race. It is a race that was held behind. Abraham Lincoln freed us, but right away was turned back into slavery because it wasn't written into law. So one nation and one nationality of people actually grew their wealth on the backs of another. And we were never reimbursed for it or anything. But my idea to young black men is to hold on and be strong. Your forefathers fought for it. They didn't destroy one another's land. They didn't go killing one another. They didn't go destroying cities. And they definitely didn't fight the military and stuff. And what we're doing right now is raising a fight because we are traumatized and pushed by a group of people. Back in the day, blacks were always given a handout. Always a handout. And the Democrats started with that. Back in the day, if you didn't vote Democrat, something was wrong, because all the blacks from back in the 1900s, when laws were created, it was always Democrat. You always voted that way, Democrat or nothing at all. And now you guys are listening to all the rhetoric and hateful words that they're spewing. And my gosh, guys, you're putting that into effect. And I'm just here to tell you, you're better than that. I don't care if it's black telling you, I don't care if it's white telling you. Again, like Stealth Community, we always say, open up the book. Please read it for yourself. Learn about yourself. How many of y'all are walking around out there right now and can't even understand what it is your forefathers fought for? And what you're doing is defaming yourself, destroying any kind of chance of getting ahead. And it is true, you get more with sugar than you do with vinegar. You're setting yourself up to be killed, you're bringing hurt and pain to your family, all the years that they have worked to try and get ahead. And if you have kids, you're going to leave kids without a father. So on this note, I just wanted to sort of give you a mindset on you should be pushing ahead. Like I said, I stress it all the time because I know I'm a lot older than a lot of y'all. I just look sexy. But there's a way to get by. You can be better than what they're showing you. Because my parents wasn't rich, but I got up off my butt because they made me work. They made me understand the rules of life. I tell you, my dad even told me, granddad told me, I'm no more than a high-tech slave. So you're going to always be looked at that way. But while they're hating and giving fear-mongering and cutting you down, you could be advancing right up underneath their nose. So just listen to this. This is not to raise anger or to make people upset or cause division. But what we're talking about is working on a set plan, not a handout, but a hand up. And what we work for, our forefathers have worked for, yes, Indians got theirs, people got it, Jews got theirs, everybody got Italians, everybody got something towards them. But we've been treated to work and slave for years. And now that we have a little freedom, y'all act like you don't even know how to act. And I still say today, Shaquille O'Neal is one person that gives a lot, and you always hear about it. And I'm pretty sure there are plenty more, can't remember them all, but he stuck out in my mind. Yes, that's your money, you earned it. You paid for it. You did your college training for it. Excuse me. But we all put, if they would all, especially if they did $1 million, just open up a bank and they all put $1 million in it. We excel in everything we do. Football, got it. Basketball, got it. Hockey, doing it. Golf, doing it. Tennis, doing it. You know what I'm saying? In car racing, doing it. Whatever sport we get in, like one of my commentators said, oh, they're built for that. Well, if you are, use that to your advantage. But excel at something. Stop tearing things down. Stop giving them what they want. All those guys there, they just destructive, they tear up everything, you can't trust. Stop that, acting like an animal. Anybody can act like Jasmine Crockett. It doesn't take much. It doesn't take any common sense. It doesn't take any trying to training to get up there and act like old hootie ho. Talking all crazy and stuff. Her parents were well-kept people. They got to be sad that the product that they got now is a daughter. It's the reason why she's not married. The reason why she don't have any kids. Who would want that? And she's a pretty woman. But who would want it? Every time she opened up her mouth, she looked like the Wicked Witch of the South with a turnip on her head. You just want to take a target and tie it around her face and put some cotton in her mouth. And she makes herself look bad. And that's why I keep giving black women credit, because there's so many of them out there that's striving to do the right thing. And this is, oh, your leader is this, look at your leader. And she always talking about, I'm a black woman. We know you black. Stop acting like it. Decent black people don't act that way. She starts that off every time, an embarrassment to the black race. Oh, I'm a black woman. Yeah, hurt your mama, killed this person, killed that person. I say that because that is, if somebody commit a crime, it's not really a crime. You know what I'm saying? But what is it, Jasmine? A crime is a crime. And she's talking about her race policy. She was up in Texas. Didn't do one thing for her group. It was all about her. All about her. Reminds me of Obama. He infiltrated y'all. Supposed to be the first black president. Could have really done something. His name could have went down in history. May not get no more. But what did he do? All about him with his big head self. All about him. Didn't do one thing for black people. Nothing. Nothing. And y'all just praising him and praising him. Oh, he's a great dog. Why are you voting for him? Because he's black. That's changed now. If you didn't take a look, Jasmine, that's changed. Black people are waking up. And here in Stell community, we got our suit of armor on. We got the ninja suit on. We digging. We learning. We turning the pages. And we trying to understand what's going on. But this is where we originated from, people, is taken out of the schools, all the black history. And why, I don't know. Or maybe the white guy's embarrassed of what he's done. But I want y'all to look at this and get some pride about yourself. Hey, we don't have to do that. My forefathers worked hard. They didn't raise up guns and knives and fought and destroyed cities and stuff. No, they weren't cowards neither. They did what a man back then did, what he's supposed to do. He worked hard, provided for his family. Yes, our wives were taken from us and raped, sodomized and stuff. Some of them did get even and killed the white guy. But you know you're going to die. It was terrible. So reparations, you can't hardly pay a person enough for that. All these terrorists and stuff going on, I truly believe Trump should turn around and give it to these people. Because the race has been in chaos from day one. Black man didn't ruin itself. I'm not here to say, oh, it's a white man, white man. I've done better, and I appreciate where I'm at. America's one country you can really excel at. But y'all stop taking the handouts. Stop letting somebody lead you to chaos. Look at that person and say, you know what? You're that way. I'm different from that. And tell yourself that. Believe in yourself. Love yourself. Why'd you do this? Oh, Jasmine said to do this, and you know what I'm saying? Hakeem said to do this. We fight, fight, fight. What's the old grandma name?
Maxine Waters.
Maxine Starters. She need to go somewhere and get a facelift. Pushing just hate, 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 fight, fight. Things ain't going your way, people. Look. Y'all ain't like Charlie Kirk. Hey, you debate. You talk, you reason, y'all pull a community together. And you go there and you talk like a decent human being. You can't go there threatening, I'm going to tear your town up. I'm going to beat you up. You can't walk down the street. And if you black people give yourself a chance, most of all the crazy murders, most of all the slaughters and burning and shooting up schools, what is it? Trans, white, foreigners. You don't see blacks doing all that. So we got something going. Let's emulate on that fact and build ourselves up, and let's get some success. Let's bring up that 3% of wealth. We're the lowest on the totem pole, and focus on having something. And this goes for white as well. But just, I keep saying that, but just It's troubling, and I'm not trying to bring up something bad. But here at Step Community, we focus on everything. This is for my white group of people. We're not prejudiced, as well as my black, as the Mexican, as the Indian, all of us. In some form of a way or another, we've been racially claimed, racially treated wrong. But if you get a community, a group together, and y'all get focused, just like on MAGA, you see how everybody's for that? Too strong to be destroyed. Too strong to be denied. It's a force of people together coming the right way. Charlie Kirk died. We didn't burn up buildings. Republicans didn't do that. They didn't burn up cars. They didn't go shooting. But Democrats are the one on that turn, and they blame it on, my gosh, look at what you're doing. Not one car got burned. Not one building got burned. Not one thing got turned over. Because it's the group of being good. And we have it in us. Let's just take a look at this so now we'll know.
California is paving the way for unprecedented reparations for African Americans. A state task force recommended monetary compensation and an apology. Some residents could receive payments over $1 million. Xavier Walton explains where this goes next.
Black Americans were never poor because they failed. They were poor because they were robbed. Let's start with the numbers they never want to talk about. In 1865, the year slavery was abolished, black people owned just 0.5% of America's wealth. Fast forward to 2025, after 400 years of labor, oppression, and struggle, and black people still own less than 2% of this country's wealth. How is that possible in the richest nation in human history? It's not by accident, it's by design. America didn't just enslave black people, it built an entire economic engine from that stolen labor, and then refused to pay the bill. White households in America today have 10 times the wealth of black households. The average white family holds about $171,000 in assets. The average black family, just $17,000. That's not a gap, it's a chasm. And here's what makes it even more damning. If the US government had paid the enslaved people for their work, just minimum wage for the 246 years of forced labor, it would owe over $24 trillion in back pay. That's not reparations, that's wages. That's what was earned, and not a single dollar was paid. Instead, when slavery ended, it wasn't the formerly enslaved who got a payout, it was the former enslavers. The US government paid them reparations for their lost property. Imagine that. You get whipped, raped, and sold, and the man who did it gets paid for losing you. What kind of justice is that? For every black family left in poverty, there's a white institution sitting on stolen wealth. Plantation owners became politicians. Slave traders became bankers. Insurance companies grew rich by insuring slave ships, and those companies still exist today. This isn't ancient history. This is your mortgage company, your Ivy League college, your local bank. They all cashed in on the same crime. If America were a bank, black people made the deposit. They built the vault, guarded the money, and still can't get a withdrawal. That's not a broken system. That's a working theft machine. Reparations aren't about guilt. They're about the receipt, because everything that was taken is still being spent. And if there's no justice for that, then this country was never about justice to begin with. When the Emancipation Proclamation was signed, the headline said, "Slavery is over." But for millions of black people, the truth was far more cruel. Slavery had ended on paper, but not in reality. There were no land grants, no housing, no education, just the same fields, the same cotton, the same chains. Only now they were wrapped in contracts and lies. Freedom without compensation is just a different kind of theft. For over 2 centuries, Black bodies had built America's railroads, picked its cotton, harvested its tobacco, and laid the foundation of its economy. By 1860, enslaved people were worth more than all the banks, railroads, and factories in America combined. They weren't seen as humans. They were the capital. Slavery wasn't just brutal, it was profitable. Slave owners mortgaged black lives to get bank loans. Insurance companies wrote policies on enslaved people like property. Universities took endowments funded by the slave trade. Major US companies, Aetna, J.P. Morgan, Wachovia, all benefited directly. And when slavery ended, those profits didn't disappear. They just changed names. The same families kept the land. The same institutions kept the money. And the people who actually did the labor, they were left with nothing but their broken backs and empty hands. Worse, many were forced into new forms of slavery, called convict leasing or sharecropping. Under the Black Codes, formerly enslaved men were arrested for things like vagrancy or talking too loud. Then they were leased out to the same plantations they'd just been freed from. No wages, no freedom, no justice. The Emancipation Proclamation didn't free 4 million people. It just moved the bars on the cage. America promised freedom, but delivered a lie wrapped in paperwork. Until that lie is reckoned with, there can be no real justice. In January 1865, Hope had a number, 40. 40 acres and a mule. Union General William Tecumseh Sherman issued Special Field Order No. 1. 15. A radical plan to redistribute 400,000 acres of Confederate land to newly freed black families along the coasts of Georgia and South Carolina. Each family would receive up to 40 acres, and in some cases, leftover army mules. For the first time, the people who had worked the land for free were being promised the land itself. Land meant survival. It meant food, shelter, inheritance, dignity, and black families believed it. Within weeks, thousands had settled onto the land. They built homes, planted crops, formed communities. It was more than a promise. It was a future. But that future didn't last. Just months later, President Abraham Lincoln was assassinated. His successor, Andrew Johnson, a man with deep sympathy for the Southern planter class, reversed the order. Instead of protecting black families, Johnson issued a blanket pardon to former Confederates and gave their land back. Overnight, black families were evicted from the soil they had just begun to call home. Soldiers came with guns and burned down their homes, tore up their crops, and drove them off the land, again. And the land went right back to the same men who had owned their ancestors. So what happened to 40 acres and a mule? It was never written into federal law. It was never protected. It was a dream, destroyed by a signature. And it wasn't just the loss of property. It was the loss of legacy. That land could have created generational wealth. It could have been passed down, built upon, used to start businesses, send children to school, or survive the next century of racial violence. Instead, it was stolen. Again, the promise of 40 acres wasn't just broken, it was buried, and to this day, America has never made it right. Most people have heard of Tulsa, but Tulsa was not the beginning, and it wasn't the end. It was part of a pattern, a national campaign to erase black success. After slavery, black Americans weren't just surviving, they were building. All black towns sprang up across the country, places like Greenwood in Oklahoma, Rosewood in Florida, and Nicodemus in Kansas. These towns had black doctors, black schools, black-owned newspapers, banks, hospitals, and rail lines. They were living proof that black prosperity was possible without white control, and that made them targets. In 1921, Greenwood, known as Black Wall Street, was one of the richest black communities in the nation. But in a single weekend, white mobs, backed by law enforcement, destroyed it. Planes dropped explosives, homes and businesses were torched. Over 300 black residents were murdered. thousands left homeless, and not a single insurance claim was honored. But Tulsa was not unique. In 1898, in Wilmington, North Carolina, a thriving black-led government was overthrown in a white supremacist coup, the only successful coup in US history. In 1923, Rosewood was burned to the ground and never rebuilt. Elaine, Arkansas, 1919. Hundreds of black sharecroppers were slaughtered for trying to unionize. Over 100 black towns were destroyed by racial violence between 1865 and 1945. Each time, black families lost land, businesses, homes, and life itself. And each time, no one was held accountable. These weren't riots. They were massacres. State-sanctioned economic sabotage. Imagine what black America could have become if these towns had been allowed to grow, if their wealth had compounded, if their businesses had scaled, if their children had inherited more than ashes. But that's the part of history they never teach. Because if you understand what was taken, then you understand what's owed. After the fires and massacres, America found a quieter way to steal from black families. Maps, mortgages, and laws. From the 1930s through the 1960s, the US government, through the Homeowners Loan Corporation and the Federal Housing Administration, created maps to decide where loans should be given. Black neighborhoods were shaded in red and labeled hazardous. This practice was called redlining. If you lived in a redlined area, you couldn't get a mortgage, no matter your income, credit, or job. Meanwhile, white families in the suburbs received low-interest government-backed loans. Loans that built wealth for generations. Between 1934 and 1968, 98% of home loans went to white families. Black families were locked out of the American dream by design, and when some black families managed to move into white neighborhoods, real estate agents used a scam called blockbusting. They'd scare white homeowners into selling low, claiming that property values would fall once black families moved in. Then they'd resell those homes to black families at inflated prices with predatory contracts, often without full ownership rights. It was theft, baked into policy. Then came the 2008 housing crisis. Banks targeted black communities with subprime mortgages, even when they qualified for better ones. When the market crashed, black families lost homes at twice the rate of whites. Over 240,000 black families lost their homes. This wasn't a flaw in the system. This was the system. Housing is the number one way Americans build wealth. So when black families were denied fair access to home ownership, they were denied the chance to build equity, pass down property, or even live in safe neighborhoods. The result? Generations of poverty. Generations of stolen opportunity. And yet America still asks, why are black people behind? Because every time they tried to build, the system tore it down. When slavery ended, America didn't stop exploiting black bodies. It just changed the uniform. The 13th Amendment says slavery is abolished, except as punishment for a crime. And that one line became the loophole that gave birth to a new form of bondage, mass incarceration. Immediately after emancipation, states across the South passed black codes, laws that made it illegal for black people to be unemployed, loiter, speak loudly in public, or walk without proof of work. Thousands were arrested, and once they were labeled as criminals, they were leased out to plantations, railroads, and corporations. This system was called convict leasing, and it was worse than slavery. Why? Because the companies leasing prisoners didn't own them. They had no incentive to keep them alive. Men, women, and even children were worked to death in mines, fields, and factories, and the profits flowed into state governments and private pockets. It never stopped. Today, the US has the largest prison population in the world, over 2 million people, and though black Americans make up only 13% of the population, they account for nearly 40% of all incarcerated people. Black men are 6 times more likely to be in prison than white men. For black women, it's twice as likely. And once you're labeled a felon, doors slam shut. You can't vote. You can't get housing. You can't get jobs. You become legally economically, and socially erased. But here's what they never tell you. Prison is a business. Private prison companies like Core Civic and GEO Group make billions annually. Incarcerated people work for as little as 13 cents an hour, producing goods and services for government contracts and major corporations. Prison labor helps fight fires in California. It builds furniture for schools. It packages food for disaster relief, and the public barely notices or cares. In every era, the system found new ways to turn black suffering into profit. Slavery became convict leasing. Convict leasing became Jim Crow. Jim Crow became the war on drugs, and today, it's mass incarceration. This is not about crime, it's about control and capital. Because in America, a black body has always meant one thing: profit. In 2020, something unprecedented happened. Amid protests, outrage, and a global reckoning on race, one US state decided to do what the federal government has never done: take reparations seriously. California established the Reparations Task Force, the first of its kind in modern American history. Their job? To study the impact of slavery and systemic racism, and to recommend actual monetary compensation for descendants of enslaved people. What they found was devastating and undeniable. The task force determined that black Californians had suffered measurable harm in areas like housing discrimination, over-policing, mass incarceration, health disparities, and unjust property seizures. They tallied the cost, not just in trauma, but in lost economic opportunity, and their recommendation: up to $1.5 million per eligible black resident, not for slavery alone, but for the compounded injustice that followed. Redlining, unjust prison sentencing, police violence, medical discrimination, school segregation, all of it had a cost. Critics said it was too much. Families, crime rooted in desperation, public health crises, education gaps, housing instability. These are not random failures. They are the long, unbroken consequences of an unpaid debt, and America pays for that every single day in policing, prisons, welfare, and lost productivity. So when people ask, who will pay? Here's the answer: we already are. We've been paying the price of injustice for over 400 years.
Okay, I was just, it's sad. I was just giving us an idea on maybe we've forgotten where we come from. And we don't need people like Kamala Harris, Jasmine Crockett, Grandma Waters, Obama, pushing the narrative on us that we need to do more. The Democratic settlement on black people has been getting from beginning of time. People we didn't get nowhere then. And they say it's not green on the other side of the fence. By this time, over 400 years, we still doing it. We are initial slaves. 50% of the population in jail is blacks. And what are they doing? Making tags, making furniture, cultivating, keeping the roads clean. They doing everything with us except being lab rat tests like the monkeys were. So, only point that I'm trying to make to you is pull yourself up, lift yourself up. Don't fall for the old propaganda, and don't believe the new. Open up the book, read, go to Google, get a history of where you at, where you fit in. Invest, learn to invest in life, learn to invest in yourself, and pick yourself up as a nation. Make a change. You don't need to fight like you're doing, destroying your own cities, robbing, tearing open buildings and all of that, like a bunch of wild Comanches. Stop it. Please stop it. We don't need no more blacks in jail. When you looting and stealing and stuff like that, you're becoming a convicted felon. You risk the chances of getting yourself killed. Why? Over some tennis shoes? Over breaking in a jewelry store? And all that stuff's marked, it's hot, it's fenced, so how are you going to get rid of it? So make a change, people. We can do this. Make a change. I'm no different from y'all. I chose to take another road. And it worked. I had to work hard at it, but it worked. I've been in nice places. I live in some of the nicest places there is. Yes, it costs money. May have cost me a little bit more, but I was able to do it. And everything I do has an ulterior motive. If I'm working, I'm there to do better than anyone else. I seek to do better. So this is a narrative that I'm pushing. I'm not here to tell community. We're not pushing hate. We're not pushing fear. We're not pushing control. We're not pushing being evil. And we definitely aren't pushing lying. My job and the community itself is to make you perceive and see things on the righteous side, the upright side of building you, not tearing you down. I don't care where you've been or what you've done. You can always do better. There's always room for improvement. This is what I taught my kids. I've got white and I've got black and I've got mixed. Do better. And they all have done better. I push that narrative. And if you're around people aren't good, please cut those people out of your circle. If someone is always yelling and screaming, always got something vindictive to say, always pushing hatred, always giving you some kind of bad reason, think about it. Waters say go to the street and fight. Snocket, Crockett says go to the street and fight. And the laughing hyena, Kamala Harris, everything's funny. She talking about, oh, democracy. He's a fascist. She can't even spell it good without a good shot of liquor. Talking about fascist. Especially not looking at herself. Study pushing hatred. And you guys are falling for it. Come on, my people. Don't do this. Don't fall for it. Open up the book. Take another look at it. You're not doing this to me because we got things coming in front of us now. Y'all may not believe it. The world's going to its close. Forget what Donald Trump does in there. It's in the Bible. He's doing the best he can with it, but it's in the Bible. And it's happening. It is happening. Revelation speaks of pestilence, food shortages, disease, things that mankind cannot cure, rumors of war. The things we know in the past have changed. Revelation 21. So these things are relevant. And they are coming. I've seen Bible prophecy being fulfilled right in them. It scares me. Jehovah God hadn't let go of the four corners of the earth yet. They may think they're getting away with all this hatred and stuff. There's a road that's narrow and cramped, which is God's road. And there's a broad road of spaciousness. All these Democrats and stuff and some Republicans are led by the evil almighty dollar. They will step on you, they will curse you, they will step on their own parents and sell their own birthright to get that dollar. They go into that White House and they come in there 2 years, 3 years, multi-millionaires. They go in poor, but ain't none of them coming out poor. They all rich. On your backs, your money. Again, this is still community. We're the ninja stealth community. We always looking. We got our eyes open. We love you. And on that note, please give me that thumbs up, sign up for the channel, become a member, and let's get this thing rolling. Because if you don't know, now you know. Also, give me your comments. I appreciate them. We love you.